Now at 10, an FDA advisory panel gives the green light to give the Pfizer vaccine to kids. We'll look at what's next. Plus, details of what Schreiber Foods calls a cyber event that impacted the company. And we'll meet some local paranormal investigators working to uncover the 4 states' spooky secrets.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Roughly 28 million kids in the U.S. could soon be eligible to receive a coronavirus vaccine. This is KOAM News at 10. A committee of experts today endorsed Pfizer's reduced dose vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. Deborah Alfarone reports from Washington.
An FDA advisory committee has recommended authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for children between 5 and 11 years old.
17 voted yes, and we had 1 abstain.
If the FDA and CDC accept the endorsement, the shots could be available late next week.
We certainly know that there are many children between 5 and 11 years of age who are susceptible to this disease.
Pfizer says its pediatric COVID vaccine contains just a third of the amount given to adults and teenagers, but offers similar protection against the virus.
We are considering the use of an age-appropriate dose level because, as we pediatricians are fond of saying, children are not simply small adults.
The experts on the committee said they were satisfied that the benefits outweighed the risks.
At one point, we thought if we vaccinated enough people that the virus would go away. It's not going away, and I think we're going to have to find a way to live with it. And I think the vaccines kind of give us a way to do that.
There have been almost 2 million confirmed COVID-19 infections in children aged 5 to 11 in the U.S. Some 8,300 of them were serious enough to require hospitalization, and so far, nearly 100 have died. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Pfizer's pediatric vaccine is administered in 2 doses spread over 3 weeks like its standard version. Boy, we have some rainy weather ahead. Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we have a lot of rain, which is going to roll in with this next storm system, and it's going to take about 48 hours, 2 days to pass through the region. At least today turned out to be pretty good. We had a lot of clouds, but temps great, 72, 45, 5 degrees above the norm for this time of the year. As of right now, we just have the clouds. Nothing underneath the clouds, so we are dry, but if you look just to the west, showers, thunderstorms, severe weather across central western parts of Kansas, and it's this batch of storms. It's heading toward us. Now, it's going to lose some of its steam, meaning we'll get strong storms, but I'm not thinking anything severe, but it is going to drop a whole bunch of rain as we go through the next day. Temps sitting mainly into lower 60s. We're not going to drop off too much more. Most of us will stay dry throughout the overnight hours, but late tonight into tomorrow morning, showers, thunderstorms start to develop. So, of course, we're going to break this system down for you, all coming up here in just a little bit.
Catch you then. The Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation is helping in the case of a woman found dead in rural Delaware County. Authorities found the body yesterday near East 570 Road in the town of Kansas, Oklahoma. In that same area, they found the car, purse, and other belongings of 82-year-old Ava Moore, who was reported missing from her Springdale, Arkansas home on October 20th. The medical examiner is working on a positive identification and trying to determine the manner and cause of death. In addition to the OSBI, law officers from Delaware County, Oklahoma and Springdale, Arkansas are working on that case. A local manufacturer falls victim to what the company is calling a cyber event. According to a representative from Schreiber Foods, the company had a cyber event which impacted their plants and its distribution centers in southwest Missouri and beyond. The event prompted a shutdown that began Friday night. The company, which employs more than 1,700 people in Carthage, Monette, and Mount Vernon, Missouri, says they immediately mobilized a specialized response team that worked to resolve the matter. Since the incident, Communications Director Andrew Tobish says they've made good progress in resolving the issue. Schreiber Foods started bringing the plants back up late last night and early today. According to the Identity Theft Resource Center, through September 30th of this year, the number of data breaches is up 17% compared to 2020. So far this year, there have been approximately 1,300 data breaches compared to 1,100 for the entire year of 2020. The victims of cyber attacks included the city of Joplin earlier this year. According to a report from IBM, the average cost of a breach is more than $4 million for a company. We asked a local IT security provider what businesses can do to protect themselves from these breaches.
Some of the best things is to really get phenomenal backups. And by that I mean we want to have what we call an air gap between where your data and where the backups are actually stored. Good protection, employee education is substantial, just to make sure that employees are not clicking on things that are inappropriate. Good password management is absolutely key.
Those same reports say more than 281 million people have been impacted by those breaches. Matazetti says identity or fraud protection is just as important for consumers as it is for companies. The lead agency hosted a conference today to discuss cleanup efforts at Tar Creek in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Tar Creek was declared a Superfund site by the EPA back in 1983 because of contamination from lead and zinc mining near the creek. At today's conference, the agency said every time that area floods, it recontaminates sites that have already been cleaned. The GRDA proposed raising the water level of Grand River, but lead agency officials say that would make things worse at the Tar Creek site. The conference will continue tomorrow and Thursday. Still ahead, we're looking at an increase in marijuana vaping among teens, but first.
An increased interest in haunted houses. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the work that goes into investigating these places, as well as a tour of one house locally.
Haunted houses are popular this time of year, but plenty are actually open year-round, including some right here in the 4 states. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky took a tour of the George Ball House in Webb City and spoke with a paranormal researcher about the house's history and how researchers study what they say is ghostly activity.
Heard the sound of something and looked over and watched the doorknob turn, open the door, and no one's upstairs.
Incidents like that aren't unusual for Lisa Martin, a paranormal investigator here in the 4 states.
Everyone that's involved tend to be history buffs, and history and interest in the paranormal often go hand in hand. We combine that interest to help support local sites.
Sites like the George Ball House in Webb City.
It was built by George Ball and his wife Martha in 1900. It would have been Mr. and Mrs. Ball and several of their children.
But this family housed here in Webb City suffered many tragedies,
including a son that was murdered that was never solved. A couple of other deaths in the family that were untimely.
Upon exploring the house, we encountered some pretty strange incidents.
I think this was open when I shut that door.
Like an upstairs door that seemed to have opened on its own.
We keep it shut. There's no reason to. In fact, there's not a doorknob.
Or a faint voice we heard behind us just before turning on the camera.
Isn't it?
Did you hear something, or was that me?
I thought I heard like almost a little whisper.
The Paranormal Science Lab team uses a mixture of their history knowledge as well as technology to research paranormal incidents within the 4 states.
When we conduct electronic voice phenomena sessions, we will ask questions out loud, and just to see if it triggers anything, if there's a reply either audibly or on a recorder later.
While we can't say for sure what we encountered during our visit, it definitely seemed out of the ordinary. In Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Ooh, anyone interested in any upcoming ghost tours can go to their website or Facebook page. You can find a link and information for other haunted houses in the area at KOAMnewsnow.com. Brings us to tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll question. Very straightforward. We've been asking, do you believe in ghosts? You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on the final numbers here in a bit. Later, we'll hear from an attorney for one of 5 men on Oklahoma's death row as they await a decision on a new appeal.
Plus, we have very heavy amounts of rain rolling in over the next 2 days. We're going to break that down coming up. It turned out to be a pretty good Tuesday for us today. A lot of clouds across the region, but temperature is fantastic as we did go into the lower 70s during the afternoon, even though we did have the clouds across the region, but we've stayed dry throughout the day. Enjoy it. That will change. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, just to the west of Seneca. Look at our temps. Yesterday, kind of cool. Only into lower 60s. We dropped back into the mid 40s earlier this morning, but rebounded nicely. Most of us went into lower 70s during the afternoon, and temperatures, they're not bad right now. Anywhere from about 60 into the mid 60s in our western counties. I think most of us will drop back to about 58-ish or so by the time you wake up in the morning. Currently outside, 62, southerly winds at 15, humidity is at 78%. You can see the clouds. There's just nothing underneath the clouds, so we're staying dry, but these clouds will continue to thicken as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Look at the storms. Hays, Kansas, just west of Salina, west of Wichita, down through western parts of Oklahoma, tornado watches, severe thunderstorm watches in effect. And it's this batch of storms that is heading toward us. It's going to lose a little bit of its intensity, but it's going to gain even more moisture by the time it makes it here. And look at this system really digging now into the southern parts of the Rockies. So we want to watch this system as the upper level low is going to track south of us. So when this recurs in the pattern in about December 10th-ish, it's going to be a really good setup for a very heavy snowfall across the region. This time, it looks like rain. Tonight's going to be okay, just clouds, but then look at the showers, thunderstorms increasing out to our west by morning. Here's 5:30 in the morning. Showers, thunderstorms increase through the morning hours, mainly on the Kansas and Oklahoma side, but inching into southwestern Missouri by mid to late morning. And then just period, showers, thunderstorms. Some of these storms could be strong, most likely not severe, but we could get some very small hail, some gusty winds upwards of 40 or so with some of these showers and thunderstorms. One batch will roll through. Here comes another batch. So this is late afternoon into the evening hours. So here's your day planner, your forecast for tomorrow. Temperature is pretty consistent in periods of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. So take the rain gear when you head out in the morning. Showers, thunderstorms continue tomorrow evening, and then we get a dry slot, a little dry punch of air. So it may taper for a few hours tomorrow night, and then we get on the backside of the system, and then we just get a cold rain setting in for Thursday morning, going all the way through the morning hours, just periods of rain into the afternoon. We can go into the evening hours. Rain continues, and then finally, by Thursday night, it starts to taper off and heads on out of here. But look at the rainfall amounts. I think most areas are going to pick up anywhere from 2 upwards to 3 inches of rain, maybe even isolated 4-inch amounts. And after all the rain that we had last Friday night and Saturday morning, we could have some flash flooding issues. 60 tomorrow, cold rain Thursday, only 53, a little bit of sunshine on Friday. Halloween weekend looks fantastic into the mid 60s and dry before, here we go again, rain by next Monday and Tuesday.
Well, it's good that the weekend looks nice. In the meantime, a whole lot of rain in very little time.
Yeah, we're not going to see any sunshine until maybe late Friday.
Wow, we'll have to be careful.
Yep.
Thanks, Todd. The attorneys for the 5 Oklahoma men scheduled to be executed are now hoping a new appeal will put a hold to executions in the state. The 10th Circuit Court denied a stay of executions yesterday. Reporter Brittany Toulis talked with one of those defense attorneys who is anxiously awaiting the court's decision.
John Grant and the 4 other men's lives are still in limbo as their execution dates get closer and the legal battle draws on. The 10th Circuit Court denied a stay of their executions, the defense attorneys quickly filing an appeal.
The judges will review the papers filed by the state, our stay application, and will issue a decision. And we also asked for expedited briefing on our appeal.
If the stay is granted, both sides will have to present their cases on a faster than normal schedule. Grant's execution is set for Thursday at 4 p.m. He and 4 others, Julius Jones, Donald Grant, Gilbert Postel, and Wade Lay, were removed from a lawsuit challenging the state's execution protocols.
The district court noted that there are some concerns about the drug combination that the state of Oklahoma intends to use. This issue is far from resolved. The only question is will those prisoners get the benefit of any finding on the constitutionality of the Oklahoma protocol?
The 26-page-long appeal cites those issues, going so far as to call the 5 men guinea pigs, as Grant will be the first person executed in nearly 7 years. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections Director, Scott Crow, says they have addressed the concerns about carrying out the death penalty and is prepared to follow the will of the people of Oklahoma expressed throughout the different steps of the legal process.
Vaping marijuana has drastically increased in popularity among teens. A new study published in JAMA Pediatrics says the number of school-aged youths vaping marijuana doubled between 2013 and 2020. Older teens seem to be most likely to vape pot. 1 in 3 high school seniors reported doing it, which was the highest number in the group. A trend worrying experts is teens say they prefer vaping cannabis extract over dried marijuana. That extract contains much more THC than marijuana plants, leading to more intense highs. Plants themselves also have higher concentrations of the chemical that produces the high. Some strains nowadays can have up to 15% THC. In the 1990s, pot was typically about 4% THC. Coming up in sports, we're going to hear from the Galena High School football team as they ride a 7-game winning streak to the playoffs. And Riverton Volleyball prepares to head to Hutchinson for the 3A state tournament. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
This week is the start of the postseason for high school football in southeast Kansas. The Galena Bulldogs will kick off the 3A bracket at home on Friday, facing the Burlington Wildcats. Now, Galena, no doubt one of the hottest teams in the area right now. They've won 7 straight, including a 37-16 win over Baxter Springs last week to clinch a district title. Now, the Bulldogs are hoping that momentum they built over the last 2 months can help carry them to a state championship in November.
It would mean a lot to me, just being a senior, going far, possibly winning the whole thing. That would be a lot.
Anytime you can play football into November, it's a great thing. We talk about that always with our kids, that's what we strive for, and hopefully we can get after it and play this week and move on. But we're playing against a good team, so we'll see what happens.
Galena's game against Burlington kicks off at 6 p.m. on Friday. The Riverton volleyball team is headed to the 3A state tournament in Hutchinson this weekend. The Rams earned their spot at state by claiming a sub-state championship over the weekend, their 2nd straight sub-state title. After being one and done last year, Riverton aims to go to Hutch and bring back some hardware this time around.
Going to state this weekend is a business trip for the Riverton volleyball team.
Well, we definitely aren't just going for the experience. We are scouting every day, looking at a lot of game film, giving the kids information, trying to prepare them for the teams we're going to play.
It starts with 3 pool play games on Friday with the goal of surviving to play on Saturday.
Only the top 2 in each pool get to continue on Saturday. Riverton's had, other teams, a handful of teams that have made it to the state tournament, but they've never made it into the top 4.
It would be awesome. It would be the best experience of my life. I just really want to put everything out there to try to get to that day.
We feel like it's anybody's title to go after on the second day.
Riverton has a young roster without a single senior. What they lack in experience, though, they make up in team chemistry.
We have a lot of fun on and off the court. They all love hanging out with each other. We eat lunch every day together as a team, and they're just like family. They're like a bunch of sisters hanging out together.
We're all like sisters. We know each other pretty well. We've grown up together our whole lives, and we get to stay together next year too because we don't have any seniors.
I love their energy, their excitement. We don't have any seniors, and so they're playing kind of with house money, it seems like.
The Rams know what they're up against this weekend, but they also know if they play well, they have a chance to make history and put Riverton volleyball on the map.
Southeast Kansas sometimes doesn't have the reputation that some of the schools that are around Wichita and Topeka and those schools. They get a lot of recognition, and they deserve it because they get to that second day and they win state titles. So I think it's time for a Southeast Kansas team to go really make some noise.
Riverton begins pool play on Friday morning at 8:30 against Smoky Valley. They'll play 2 more on Friday, facing Beloit at 10:30 and Eureka at 1:30 p.m. Finally, historic announcement today from KCNWSL. The team is moving forward with a stadium project at the Kansas City Waterfront. It's a $70 million project and will be the first stadium built specifically for a National Women's Soccer League team. It's financed entirely by the club's owners, which includes Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany Matthews. They're expected to break ground on the new stadium next fall. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Time now to honor a local veteran. Staff Sergeant Frank Greer served in the U.S. Army during World War II. His hometown, Neodesha, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Staff Sergeant Frank Greer. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Let's take a final look at today's KOAM News Now. Instapoll question, do you believe in ghosts? And 59% say, yes, indeed we do. This poll is now closed. Thank you for participating. Rain is coming and lots of it over the next couple of days.
Yeah, a little spooky out there over the next couple of days because we aren't going to see the sun until maybe at best Friday afternoon. Showers, thunderstorms, some of these could be strong, not expecting severe, but heavy amounts of rain, periods of thunderstorms tomorrow, and then just a good old cold rain on Thursday. A lot of areas, I'd say on average 2 to 4 inches out of this next system.
That's plenty. Final sports note.
Game 1 of the World Series tonight. Braves lead 5-1 right now in the bottom of the 7th.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you tonight with a look at some Halloween decorations in Pittsburgh. Don't forget our morning show, and let's make it a great tomorrow.